Welcome back, traders. Today we're going to go over 3-day and 3-session templates and what I am doing on a weekly and daily basis to identify these setups, and just a simple process on identifying and trading these setups. Now, the previous two videos, we talked about some basics, front side, back side. We also talked about my process here. Um, it's pretty straightforward. I've actually had quite a few traders come to me since then. We've had conversations through Zoom, and I've talked about my process. A lot of traders that come to me are knowledgeable. They know what they're doing. That you guys know how to trade, but you just don't have a process. So you have all this information and don't know what to do with it. For example, I had a student that I was talking to earlier today, and he's been studying for the past few years, and he showed me his notes. And I was very impressed because he had everything. There was really nothing he missed except a simple process. So when we talked over the charts, we pulled up a few charts and I was just going over the process here. He had aha moments left and right and was like, okay, well, I was just overcomplicating it this whole time. So let me just go back and simplify my process. So that is what I would advise all of you guys to do, is to simplify your process and just keep it simple. If you're on the front side, I'm thinking trends. If you're on the back side, I'm thinking reversal. Now you don't have to draw trend lines on your chart, but I use it as a visual, uh, so that I can come up with a bias, and stay off of the wrong side of the market. So once again, we're going to talk about 3-day and 3-session templates, why you need to know them, and how to identify them. But before I get to drawing on my chart, I'd just like to tell you guys a little bit of the mindset that I have, for trading. I'm thinking like a professional athlete. I'm thinking like a ball player would. I'm thinking like a boxer would. So I have some skill sets, but I've mastered a few things. And I've mastered it to the point to where if I don't get my plan A, I immediately go to plan B. So it's either left or right, or right or left, trend or reversal, or reversal or trend, higher highs for the dump and pump, lower lows for the pump and dump. So I'm going to go ahead and draw something here. Um, and it's going to be trend or reversal. Now, one scenario that I love to look for is my low, my high, they trigger the high, fail, and reverse. This happens on the back side. I will get my lower low for my trade. Now, just to break this down, let's actually start off with the 3-session variation. Now, this will be my peak formation low, session one, right here. Peak formation low, session one. Session two will be my peak formation high. Session three will be on the back side, and I am looking for the lower low. That is my criteria. I am looking for the lower low because that is the recipe for the pump and dump. So whether that was before the session or during the session, I need a lower low in order for me to trade this. Now, I will also say this. This is part of my process here. Peak formation plus consolidation equals parabolic. Now, this is my plan A. Now, let's just say I'm a boxer here. This is my jab. I want to break down the market or my opponent with my jab. I want to establish my reach with my jab. I want to establish my range with my jab. So again, I do more so have a boxer's mindset when I'm trading. So I have a right and a left hand, a setup A and a setup B. This can be 3 sessions. This can be 3 days. So let's just say we do this in separators. This will be day one. This would be day two. And quite obviously, day three will be the actual trade. Now, nothing changes here. It's the same setup. Day one, day two, day three, session one, session two, session three. But example, my reversal trade has to be on the backside. If it is not on the backside and I don't get my lower low, there's essentially nothing else to do but wait and sit on my hands until I get a scenario or this exact pattern. I have thousands of these in my playbook, all over my Mac, my phone, everywhere. So I can identify this without even thinking. So coming to the chart, a criteria for me or my step one, I call this the stair step. My step one is a peak formation low in Asia. Let's say I'm trading New York. Step two will be a peak formation high in London. And step three will be my lower low for my pump and dump template. Now, this can be a M formation. It won't always be an M formation. Um, Sometimes I can get a triple top formation. Sometimes it will just be an A top. There are multiple variations of this. As a matter of fact, I said stair step. The stair step will actually take out the high first, put in the M formation, and fail in reverse. A slightly different variation is where they will not take out the high and give us a lower low instead for the pump and dump template. Now, over 3 sessions, again, let's just say this is Asia, this is London, and New York takes out the high for the reversal down. But this can also be Monday. Monday gives us a high and a low. Tuesday takes out the high, puts in a peak formation. This may be a first red day. It won't always be a first red day, but the first red day signal is what we're looking for. And day three will give us the lower low for the pump and dump setup. So once again, this is one of the easiest patterns. As a matter of fact, I look for this every week. And there was a point in time where I was literally getting this 2, 3 times a week over my basket of pairs. Um, but to bring out the handy dandy tool, let's see. Not too sure where my napkin went. Wherever you are, here you are. That was just one scenario. The other scenario will be a trend trade, and we're going to talk about this. The other scenario will have the exact same step one and step two, funny enough. Step one will be our low. Step two will be our high. They will give us a higher high for the dump and pump template. Now, this is a trend trade scenario. Once again, we will have the same step one, which will be a peak formation low in Asia, a peak formation high in London. But instead of step three being lower lows for the pump and dump and on the back side, this is a little bit different. Typically, this will be on the front side of a week. They will break the back side, excuse me, they will break the front side of the day oftentimes, inducing traders to go short so that they can pop them back up in the long direction. So again, they may break the front side of the day, but we will still be front side of the actual week itself. So higher highs is the recipe for the dump and pump template. Now, I'm not too sure why I even did that here. That was a double H. Higher high is the recipe for the dump and pump template. Step one, peak formation low in Asia. Step two, peak formation high in London. Step three, higher highs for the dump and pump template. Now, here's some secret sauce right here. I'm looking for them to dump it down before New York Open. I have millions of examples of this. They will dump it down. It will be a first hour short, a nail and bail, which you can take that. I recommend you don't because the real trade will be long. But they will oftentimes dump this down before the New York Open. And the New York Open will trade, give us our W formation. Our entry will be somewhere around here, pin hammers, engulfments, and they will continue long in the direction of the front side of the week. I have plenty of examples of this. But once again, this is my cross. So as I'm thinking like a boxer. My jab is the high of day reversal, high of week reversal. My cross, because once again, I'm pump and dump biased. I'm looking for a pump and dump down, short trade, whether that is high of the day or a broken down market in a front side down market for a trend trade. Um, but the majority of the time, I'm looking for the low in Asia, high in London, false break reversal, New York, M formation, lower lows for the pump and dump. But if I do not get that, And my step one and step two is the exact same. Instead, I get higher highs and I'm on the front side of the week for the dump and pump template. I will take that trade to go long. This is just some insight of how I'm trading, what I'm thinking. Again, my jab is my high of day false break reversal. My cross is my pullback trend trade on the front side of the week. So, just some insight here, traders. I do things a little bit differently. I come from an athletic background. I actually had someone comment the other day asking if I did have an athletic background because of the way that I was illustrating these charts. Funny enough, he actually read me like a book because I do. Um, Shout out to OKC. We are in the Western Conference Finals right now, up 3-1. Hopefully, we will take this home. We're not too worried about anybody on the East, to be honest. No pun intended, and I'm not trying to be offensive to anyone in Indiana or New York, but we are not worried about y'all. So, back to the charts. 3-day and 3-session setups are every week, every day, if you have a simple process. I actually have a very simple process for 3-day setups. Um, and that is peak formation plus coil equals parabolic. Now I'm gonna do some drawing here. And again, I'm only going over one scenario. There's many. I'm working on a ebook PDF file that has all of the templates that I have recognized and have traded, and they are easy and repeatable. Now, there's going to be a lot of other templates in there that set up after a first red day, after a first green day, inside day, closing breakout. As a matter of fact, the stair step, the first drawing that I drew, that will happen, and it does happen. And I have plenty of examples of it happening after a first red day, after a first green day, after a closing breakout, after a outside day, even after no signal day, just Wednesday and Friday. That setup, that template sets up regardless. So, mindset hack. Yes, I'm looking for signal days, but on the day, I'm looking for something very specific over that 3-session template. Is it a pump and dump template or is it a dump and pump template? So let's say, on our Monday, we get a peak formation low. And on our Tuesday, we get a peak formation high. Day one, day two. And on day three, they give us a consolidation for our parabolic short trade. Once again, similar pattern. But here's the thing here. If the consolidation is up top next to or at the peak formation high, I will look for the pump and dump templates Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But let's just switch it up a little bit. Let's say we have the exact same day one and day two, but this time we have a consolidation down low. Day three will be over here. Here's our day three. But this time the consolidation is down low. Now, this could be a bull or bear flag, does not matter. They oftentimes will switch it up, tricking traders to trade in the wrong direction. For instance, this is actually a bull flag, um, and we may get a bull flag up top. So traders are trying to go long because it's a bull flag. And shout out to the market makers because they say, oh, patterns don't work all the time. Um, that's why the way you trade is the wrong way to trade, blah, blah, blah. Well, they're halfway right, halfway wrong. The pattern does matter, but it's where the pattern is what matters. If it's down low, I'm looking for a dump and pump, a consolidation down low for the dump and pump template. If the consolidation is up top, I am looking for the pump and dump template. Once again, yes, we're on the whiteboard with these examples. And yes, we will get to the chart really, really soon. But there is so much confusion in the community, and I'm going to clear it all up. There's so many traders that are skilled, knowledgeable, but they don't have a simple process, which is the reason why they can't repeat their results. So once again, let's talk about another scenario using the same exact concepts, pump and dump and pump. Now, those are two 3-day setup examples. Consolidation up top, I'm looking for a sell. Consolidation down low, I'm looking for a buy. That can be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or it can be a 3-day setup. Those are the odd days: Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, same pattern, different order of days. This is why the day count is so confusing to some traders because one, again, they don't have a simple process. They don't know what patterns they're looking for. And two, you're trying to add all of these variables to your setup when in all reality, these patterns, these trades are fractal. They happen on the daily, the quarterly, the yearly, the hourly, intraday, during the actual session, uh, and each hour. So, in my opinion, the true time frames, which I'm going to write down, the true time frames are the year, the quarter, the month, the day, excuse me, the week, the day, the session, and the hour. Now, yes, these are not the time frames that you were probably thinking about. 1 hour, 4 hour, 8 hour, uh, daily, 15 minutes. These are the time frames that have their own individual front side and back side. So you can be front side of the year, but back side of the month. Let that sink in. Please think about this. Go mark this up on your chart. Yes, we're going to get to the charts. Be patient with me. We can be front side of the week, backside of the day. We can be backside of the day and session. Uh, for a session scalp, we may be on the backside of the hour. First hour, opening range, second hour goes up. They break the front side of that up move for the third hour reversal, back down. Third hour reversal or backside of the hour slash session. Same thing. But just in general, these are my true time frames because once again, all of these have their own individual front and back side. So let that sink in. I'm going to go more in depth into this when we get to the chart so you guys can see a visual. But for example, just a basic example, I've been talking about this the previous videos. So if you haven't seen those yet, do give those a watch. We can be, just a quick example, front side down on the week, daily separator here. Lower lows is the recipe for the pump and dump. Lower lows is the recipe for the pump and dump. Lower lows is the recipe for the pump and dump. But here's the thing, we're front side down, right? We're front side down, right? But we are on over here, we're backside of the session. Over here, we're backside of the entire day. Asia and London were climbing up. New York high of the day, backside of the day, front side of the week for a continuation trade down. Same here, they give us a lower low. Whoops. They give us a lower low, which is the recipe for the pump and dump on the backside of the day. Now, this could be the exact same thing. Let's just say these are monthly separators. New month, new month, new month. Um, and the month starts off going up, going up. But we're front side down of the quarter, front side down of the year. And they give us backside of the month opportunities. First red days up top to short this market in line with the front side of the quarter, front side of the year. If you look at the indexes, we're on the back side of the year, and they gave us higher highs for a dump and pump. We had a textbook first green day setup yesterday, first green day signal Monday, higher highs, which is the recipe for the dump and pump on Tuesday, textbook 9:45 on the dot. I had that guy who works on Wall Street tell me that the 9:45 trade was BS. Now, if you understand it and you're hunting for it and you know what to look for, 9:45 is textbook. It won't always be 9:45. Sometimes it'll be 10, 10:15, 10:45, 45 minutes into the hour. Sometimes 11, sometimes nothing at all. But you have to know what you're looking for. Your process has to be very simple and it has to be repeatable. So, one last thing that I am going to draw up. is this. Oh, it was the first red day signal, but they didn't give me the trade. First red day doesn't work. Oh, it was the first red day, but they gave a short squeeze down low. Oh, or oh, I don't even know if that's the first red day. Stacy said it can be a down close day. He's not, he's a horrible teacher. He doesn't tell us the difference. Blah, 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 blah. He has, you just did not listen. So let's say day one is our low. Day two, we get our high. We get our first red day signal. And let's leave it like that. Day one, day two. This is going to be a game changer for you first red day traders that just don't get it. Now, let's say this is our closing price. This is the first red day signal. Now, I'm going to give you two scenarios that set up after first red day. One of them is actually the peak formation low in Asia. Step one. Step two, peak formation high in London. Step three, New York. False break reversal trades for the first red day continuation down to the low of the week. Step one will be our peak formation low. Step two will be our peak formation high. Step three will be our M formation, lower low, pump and dump setup. Again, this is also one of the most misunderstood things about first red day is that it matters what happens on the next day. You need a pump and dump template in order for it to be a first red day trade. Also, that first red day signal may, that first red day signal may be on the front side of the week, but that first red day trade, if it is not on the backside of the week, that is not a first red day trade. And you may just be counter trending the front side of the month, the front side of the year, front side of the quarter. You may be counter trending that market, not understanding you're still in a market that is making higher highs. That is a dump and pump template. So let me give you guys another scenario for first red day, because that's just one of them. Mastering first red day is understanding all of its subtle variations that it may present. Another scenario is we will actually get a high in Asia, a low in London, and they pull back in the US session for our pump and dump template continuation down to the low of the week. Once again, instead of getting a low in Asia, this time we will get a high in Asia. a low in London, and New York pulls back into the high. Now, they can take out the high. I would prefer them to take out the high. They don't always take out the high. They will sometimes give a lower low on the inside, backside of the session, backside of the hour for the short trade down. But once again, instead of getting a low in Asia, we will get a high in Asia, um, a low in London, which this is the recipe, the lower low, the recipe for the pump and dump template. They pump it up. We're now on the backside of the day, excuse me, backside of the session, maybe even that hour for our continuation short trade down. There's other subtle variations that a first red day will present. Most of the time, I'm looking for the stair step. I call this a box because Asia and London gives you a perfect box, high and low box, and they stay inside of that box. They may even take out the high and continue down with your original thesis. Um, Now, again, I call it the box because Asia and London gives you a perfect high and low, and they trade from the top or bottom of that box. Now, this can also happen. Um, One more scenario. Again, like I told you guys, I'm about to decode all of it. Go find someone who's going to tell you what I'm telling you about first red day. Go find them. Our last scenario is we will get a low or a high and a low in Asia. London will be inside, and New York will give the high of the day M formation for the continuation down. Once again, Asia gives us a high and a low, or a low and a high, depending on the actual day. We get our lower low again, which is the recipe for the pump and dump templates. London, London, session two, London, just like an inside day, there's an inside session. Will stay inside of the range, and New York will take out that range, put in the information, give you a lower low for the pump and dump templates on the back side of the day. Go find someone who's going to tell you all three of these variations that I just explained. Um, there's one more. I don't trade that scenario, so I'm not going to talk about it. But the majority of the time, A plus first red day for me is when they give me a low in Asia, a high in London, and the false break reversal trade high of day. That is the textbook first red day. Stacey explained that to a T perfectly in his video where he was drawing up on, well, he wasn't on the whiteboard, but he was drawing up the illustrations about the peak formations, talking about the peak formations, talking about what he looks for after a first red day signal. He gave us step by step what to look for. He has also talked about the subtle variations of three session setups in his older videos. Um, Now, again, he does have a lot of videos. So I understand if people may not have seen that video, but he has talked about all kinds of variations of three session. I have um, descriptions of these templates in my ebook. My ebook is just a collection of all my notes. It's not a copy and paste of Stacey's playbook. I actually suggest you go get that Stacey's playbook. My playbook is all of my notes over the past few years, which I am developing another ebook that will showcase all of the templates that I like to hunt for and the simple criteria for all of them. Signal days, first red day, closing breakout, inside day, day one, day two, day three, day four, day five, week one, week two, week three, week four, high of month, low of month, everything. And they have very, very simple criteria. All you have to do is count to three. If you cannot count to three, I will make a video on how to count to three. So, once again, one more time for the people in the back. It's either going to be a trend or reversal. This is 90% of what I do. These are these are the main two that I like to look for. I'm pump and dump biased. My jab is the high day reversal. My cross is the pullback trend. I'm thinking of this like a boxer would. Boxers have setups on top of setups. They have counters on top of counters. So if I'm looking to take a jab at the market and just take easy money, I will look for the high day reversal. If they counter me, because this is one thing that or the Wall Street guy was explaining to me. Oh, they have a counter for everything. You can't win. They have a counter for a counter for a counter for a counter for a counter. You can't win. Well, guess what? I have counters too. I have plan A's and plan B's too for entries, for templates, for the day, for everything, for my emotions, excuse me, for my behaviors, for my process, my simple process. If they don't give me this and I'm not on the backside and I don't get my lower low, I will reassess myself and say, okay, that they don't give me this. They don't give me my lower low. Fine. We're still front side of the week. So I will look for my trend trade, my higher high, for my pullback continuation trade, W formation down low, M formation up top for my pump and dump or my dump and pump. If I'm trading pump and dump setups, they look like this. If I'm trading dump and pump setups, they look like this. Now you can invert this. It can be low of day dump and pump reversals on the backside, or it can be um, pullback trend continuations down. So this will be a buy instead of a sell. This will be a sell instead of a buy. So I just like to end off on that note, everyone, before I go too deep. But traders, you guys have to keep it simple. A lot of you guys already have the skills and the knowledge necessary to profit from this market. You just don't have a simple process, and you don't have the mindset and the discipline to stay consistent. Now, again, I'm not the perfect trader. I have ran up plenty of accounts and blown them. I got a question in the comment section, and his question was, "Hey, can you make a video about all of the mistakes you've made on your journey?" And I think that is an excellent question. I think that's one of the best questions I have ever gotten. Thank you, because I will make that video and I will talk about all of my mistakes and the mistakes that I am battling on a daily basis. This is a marathon, not a sprint. The things that I have to remind myself on a daily basis to ensure myself that I don't damage myself mentally, psychologically, and physically by doing dumb, impulsional, irrational behaviors on the chart or even in my life, because everything bleeds into everything. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So, yes, I will make that video. And I will talk about all of my trials and tribulations in my journey and how and why I came up with my simple process and why I think the way I think and why it works. So thank you all. I will see you guys on the next video. I will see you guys on the charts. Blessings to you all. Please leave a like in the comments so that way people that are in need can see this video and they will get the help they need. So may the market be with you all, and blessings to you all, traders. Please keep it simple, because if you do not, excuse me, if you are not keeping it simple, how can you repeat it? So once again, thank you all. Wish us well in the finals. Again, we are not worried about Indiana or New York. I am a sports fan, a big one at that. I will actually be at the game tomorrow, so wish us luck. It's Free Cash Wednesday, so for me it's around 2 a.m. for me. New York session is not open yet. We do have FOMC minutes on the calendar, so be cautious. We may or may not get something for New York, but either or, if I get a setup, I will take that trade. If not, I'll sit and wait on my hands. But have a blessed Free Cash Wednesday and keep it simple. Peace.